Please do like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon.
Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So today we'll discuss something about the polymers. Now we'll go in detail later on. Let us just have a general idea what do we mean by polymers. Now substances or the materials that we use in our day-to-day life which are very much useful to us, materials such as your nylon, terylon, those fibers, that is a nylon, terylon, then you have your polystyrene, then various type of coatings which have been used in cooking utensils like the Teflon coating, then various cooking utensils, not cooking utensils, we can say the serving utensils which are made up of bakelite. Then we have the PVC where you will find in footwear and all such type of substances which makes our life easier, or we can say our life would be difficult or would be standstill without the use of the polymers. Such type of substances we call them as the polymers. Okay, now let us move more in detail about the polymers. So polymers are what? These are the giant molecules. These are the giant molecules. Now when we are saying giant molecules, that means they are the big molecules where many chains are being linked together. Many chains, small chains are being linked together. So if they are the big molecules, giant molecules, obviously their molecular mass will be very high. So having high molecular mass, which may be around 50,000 or even more. Such type of substances, such type of materials, we call them generally as the polymers. So polymers again are of two major types, that is the inorganic polymers . So inorganic polymers includes your metaphosphoric acid, that is a these are the examples of the inorganic polymers. That is the inorganic, they are having the molecules, inorganic molecules. So metaphosphoric acid, that is HPO3, and that means what? N molecules of HPO3 are being joined together, leading to the formation of long chains. HPO3 units are all linked together. When we'll proceed with the chapter, this idea will be more clear to you. At the same time, that is silicones. Then we have the silicates, silicates. Such type of substances forms the inorganic polymers. Then we have the organic polymers. Now organic polymers, it can be either your natural polymers, such as your starch, cellulose, that means all obtained from the natural products, from the plants, their origin is nature, from plants or from the animals. So natural polymers, that is starch, cellulose, then nucleic acid, all these type of polymers, or resins, proteins, these are the natural polymers. These comes under the organic polymers, or they can be synthetic polymers. Now synthetic polymers includes all your polymers which are made in the industries, such as your Teflon, PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride. PVC, the full form is polyvinyl chloride, Teflon, then bakelite, and fibers such as your synthetic fibers such as your nylon, terylon, all these type of substances, terylene, etc. These comes under the synthetic polymers. We'll find that it's amongst the, here we will not discuss much about the inorganic polymers. We don't need to, as per our syllabus, we don't need to discuss about the inorganic polymers. But here also under natural polymers also, we don't require much discussion. We only need to discuss we'll be discussing somewhat about the organic polymers, but we'll be going in detail about the synthetic polymers, because synthetic polymers, they find a wide application in our day-to-day life. So these are very much important, and in this chapter particularly we'll be discussing about your synthetic polymers and some few points about the natural polymers. So let us proceed further. So we can say a polymer, if you define polymer, I hope the examples are clear to you, the different types of polymers. Now let's proceed further. So polymers, what does it mean? Polymers, poly means what? Many, and mers means what? Units. So that means what? Many units are being joined together, leading to the formation of long chains, or that means many chains are being joined together, leading to the formation of these polymers. So if we can say, let me give an example. So what is this? This is what? N molecules of ethene, or we also called as ethylene. So this is what? Ethene or ethylene. We call it as ethylene or ethene. Okay. Now what happens that this same chains that is of ethene get joined together. We don't know how many number of chains, that means n number of chains. N units of this get joined together. So we write down over here n. So it leads to the formation of what? Polythene. Polythene. Or we also call it as polyethylene. The polythene that we use, no? Without which things becomes very difficult. So that polythene, which is also called as polyethylene, it's nothing but it's the n molecules of ethene or ethylene which have been joined together by the process called as polymerization. Now how all these have been joined together, different processes, different ways that we'll be going through later on. Now look here, in this particular, it's basically this unit has been joined together. It is this unit which has been joined together. So this simplest unit, we call this as a repeat unit. Or let me not enclose in the bracket right now. So this is called as the repeat unit. This is the repeat unit. And when n times it has been joined together, okay, so it leads to the formation of the polymer. So when I'm enclosing it into the bracket with the n number of times, that means this is called as the polymer. What is the name of the polymer? That is a polythene. Okay, but if it is not enclosed, so there's just one unit of it that is called as the, we can call this as a repeat unit. So we can say the repeat unit is what? The structural unit which on repetition. Repeat unit is what? If we define repeat unit, so this is a structural unit which on repetition gives long chain of polymer, gives this whole chain, this is being repeated again and again. We don't know how many number of times, n number of times, depending upon the length of the chain. So structural unit which on repetition gives the entire chain of the polymer, gives the entire chain of polymer. That is called as your repeat unit. So here, when you consider this one unit of this, when one unit of this has been considered, so that is called as the monomer. When one unit is taken, one unit is taken, we call this as monomer. Monomer. What mono word itself means? What? One unit of the polymer. So when one unit of this polymer that we take, that is called as the monomer. So monomer basically it forms the building block of a polymer. So from where this polymer that has been formed? From the repeat unit of a particular monomer, that is this monomer is getting repeated. Because it is getting repeated, it is called as the repeat unit. So monomers are the building blocks of this polymer which leads to the formation of the whole long chain of a particular polymer. I hope you are getting. So what can we say? This polyethylene is basically a repeat unit of this monomer. Which monomer? That is this ethane. So now it's clear what is a monomer and what is a repeat unit. So we can say this simple unit itself, if I am not enclosing it into the bracket over here, this is just called as the monomer. Okay, and because it is getting repeated again and again, the same unit, so we call this as a repeat unit. And when we are writing down it n number of times, this is called as the polymer, and the name of this polymer is what? Polythene. So I hope there is no confusion between the word monomer, repeat unit and polymer. I hope students it's clear to you. What do we mean by monomer, or what do we mean by repeat unit? That is a one single unit of a monomer. That is a repeat unit which gets repeated throughout the length of the chain, which leads or which give rise to the formation of a particular polymer. Clear? So now this repeat unit are different monomers. Either the monomer, then I am saying here the monomer is only one type of monomer. Same type of monomer. This is one monomer. So same type of monomer is getting repeated. Thus, same monomer, same repeat unit is getting repeated, leading to the formation of this long chain. So this monomer, either it can be same or it can also be different. So let us just go through the example where the monomer units, so this is an example where your monomer unit is same. Where the monomer unit is same, so the repeat unit is same, giving rise to polyethylene. Let us come to an example where the monomer units are different. So we can say in a polymer, the monomer unit either can be same or it can be different. Let's come to an example where the monomer units are different. So that particular, the previous one was the monomers are same when different monomers. So different monomers are joined. So let us have an example that is over here N, H2N, CH2, 6, NH2. N molecules of hexamethylene diamine plus they are undergoing polymerization. Which type of polymerization will go in detail, but first let us understand this. Now look here, from here one H and one OH gets removed as water molecule, and from here also one H and one OH. So one OH from here, and so this gets removed, so that means two molecules of water is been getting repeated over here. So this is what? Hexamethylene diamine this is adipic acid. That is N molecules of hexamethylene diamine, N molecules of adipic acid. These get joined together, and from per molecule what is happening? Two molecules of water will be formed over here. So let us see how this chain joins up. N, H over here. One hydrogen is getting removed from here. Again this will be NH, and from here OH. So C double bond O, CH2, 4, C double bond O, and again this OH and one more hydrogen from the other end gets removed. So let me write down first this into the. So this gives rise to nylon 66. Okay, this is that is nylon 66. Now look here, this N molecules of both of them and plus over here 2NH2O. So n molecules of both of them are getting joined together to give the n molecules of one repeat unit over here. Both the two types of the repeat units over here, giving rise to the formation of nylon 66. Now if I am not enclosing it into the brackets over here, when I am not writing down n over here, so this is one thing, that is this particular part over here, one type of your monomer from here to here. If you are considering this, so from here to here, when it is joined together from here to here, one monomer unit, and from this particular part from here, that is a two monomers, that is one monomer from here, one monomer from here. Two monomers are being joined together, leading to the formation of this one single repeat unit. This is one repeat unit. Clear? Two monomers are being joined together in this way, and this is one repeat unit. So this is called as the repeat unit. And when the whole repeat unit we are writing down in n number of times, this gives rise to a polymer. The name of the polymer is nylon 66. I hope now it's clear. This is an example where the two different monomers are being joined together. This one monomer, this one monomer. This is again one repeat unit, and this goes on getting repeated again and again n number of times, leading to the formation of nylon 66. Clear? Okay, we have some, let's go to some few more examples. That is the monomers as well as the repeat unit, so this idea becomes clear to you. Where different monomers are being used, where one type of monomer is used, it's very easy to identify when different types of monomers are being used, maybe the monomers may be the same or different types of monomers are there. Let's go to certain examples. So monomers, then repeat unit, and finally we have the polymer. So these are the three categories under which we will be having some few examples. That is first example over here, CH2 double bond CH, CH double bond CH2. That is 1,3-butadiene or buta 1,3-diene, buta 1,3-diene. And the repeat unit for this is what? CH2, CH double bond CH, CH2. This is the repeat unit for buta 1,3-diene. And when this gets repeated n number of times, how we'll be writing down? That is, there's no, let me draw a line over here so that things becomes better for you. Okay, so we will be writing down in this way. How many number of times? N number of times, leading to the formation of a polymer. This polymer we call it as polybutadiene. It's obtained from buta 1,3-diene, so this will be called as polybutadiene. Okay, let's have another example. So this was our first example. The second example is of styrene, CH2 double bond CH. Okay, now the single, that is one repeat unit of this. Either you can show this over here, but if I am showing this, what we say, this benzene ring, if I am showing it over here, then again it will be again I have to extend it and enclose it on this side. So let me show it over here. Both the ways you can show, but I think this is a better way of showing it, so that I can show this n number of, this is what? Simply a repeat unit, and when it is joined n number of times, that is CH2, CH, so this is what? Polystyrene, or polystyrene. You must have come across this word, no? Polystyrene. Very like there's a form of fiber. Okay. We could have shown it over here also, but if you are showing it over here, we have to show this n number of times over here again. So I think this is a better way. Otherwise, if you want, that's your wish, you can show it the joining over here in this way also. So this is one that is it is obtained from where? That is styrene. Styrene, this is the repeat unit. It gets repeated n number of times, leading to the formation of polystyrene. Then we have the vinyl chloride, our next example, that is CH2. So here the repeat unit will be what? CH2, CH. Let me show it over here so that I can show a chain that is over here. So this is your one repeat unit. This repeat unit gets repeated n number of times. So this is what? Polyvinyl chloride. Polyvinyl chloride. We also call it as in short as PVC. So what is this? This is vinyl chloride. I hope you are clear with the idea. What do we mean by vinyl chloride? When to any compound this has been attached, that is CH2 double bond CHCl, that is called as the vinyl chloride. I repeat, CH2 double bond CHCl, that is called as the vinyl chloride. This can be attached to any compound also, okay, but this this particular unit is called as a vinyl chloride. So this one unit of this is called as a repeat unit, and it leads to, when it is joined n number of times, it leads to the formation of polyvinyl chloride or the PVC. You must have come across now when you go to buy those shoes, your footwear for the rainy season, they say it is made up of PVC, polyvinyl chloride. So this is what it is. Okay, next we come to the classification of polymers. I'll rub these examples. I hope this idea is clear. What do we mean by monomers, the repeat unit, and the polymers? These are all the one single unit of it. So one single unit, it forms a repeat unit, one monomer, and it is forming the repeat unit. When it is n number of times, it is leading to the formation of a polymer. So let's proceed further with the classification of polymers. So there are different ways of classification, different ways, there is different way which we will be classifying today. It will not be possible to discuss all of them, but just let us have some few classifications. So classification of polymers, first way of classification is on the basis of origin or source of origin. On the basis of origin, let me write down in the center, on the basis of origin, from where a polymer that has been obtained. So on the basis of origin, the polymers are natural polymers, then we have the semi-synthetic polymers, and over here the synthetic polymers. Okay, first of all, natural polymers, the word itself suggests what do we mean by natural polymers? The polymers which are obtained naturally or which has got a natural origin, which may be your plants or which may be from your animals. Those type of polymers, like the polymers from the nature, that is source of origin is from the nature. Such type of polymers we call them as the natural polymers. For example, starch, cellulose, nucleic acids, then we can have rubber also, which is a sort of natural polymer, which is a very important example, or we can say rubber is a very important example of a natural polymer. You may not be asked about all these ones, but natural polymers you will find, that is rubber, you have been asked several times in various examinations. Even if you go for various competitive examinations also, you'll find in the paper about the rubber that has been asked. So we'll discuss about the rubber in detail. So here rubber is important from the natural polymers. Now rubber, actually it has been obtained from rubber tree. This rubber, it is obtained from rubber tree and is nothing but is your 2-methyl. The chemical name of it is 2-methyl buta 1,3-diene. 2-methyl buta 1,3-diene, which is also called as, the common name, it is also called as isoprene. The common name is also isoprene. Okay, so when this this is a chemical name of your rubber, the natural rubber which you get from the rubber tree. The chemical name of this is what? 2-methyl buta 1,3-diene, and so commonly we call this as isoprene. So when many units of isoprene have been joined together, that is called as your polyisoprene. Polyisoprene. So natural rubber, it is also called as your polyisoprene, or many units of isoprene have been joined together leading to the formation of your rubber. I don't have much space to go in detail about this. We'll come to it later on. That is this, and the natural polymers we are having again. Let me explain in short. The natural polymers we are having polymers, again polymers with low molecular mass, which are also called as the polymers with low molecular mass. It's not included amongst the rubber, but it comes under the natural polymers. Okay, I'll just come to it later on. Let us first come to this so that I get sufficient space to explain you this different types of polymers. Okay, next is a semi-synthetic polymers. Semi-synthetic means what? Semi, it is synthetic. That means what? Certain modifications are being made on natural polymers. The polymers which are being obtained by making modifications on the natural polymers, there is a chemical modification or whatever, some modifications. Chemically, those natural polymers that has been treated. So modifications have been made. Modifications on natural polymers. Chemical modifications, we can say. Chemical polymers obtained by chemical modifications. Chemical modifications on natural polymers. Those are called as semi-synthetic. That means half it is natural, half it is synthetic. So basically chemically it has been modified on natural polymers have been chemically modified. Let me give you an example. For example, your cellulose diacetate. Cellulose diacetate. How it has been obtained? Cellulose diacetate, that is, it has been subjected to the reaction, that is acetylation reaction. So cellulose, it has been subjected to acetylation. In presence of your acetic anhydride. How it has been subjected to acetylation? Later on in organic chemistry we will be studying about acetylation reactions in detail. Then the things will be more clear to you. At this present moment in this particular chapter, you just only need to know that this semi-synthetic polymer, where the example of cellulose diacetate has been obtained by acetylation reaction by treating with acetic anhydride. Acetic anhydride and your sulfuric acid. When it has been treated with acetic anhydride and sulfuric acid, it undergoes a reaction which is called as the acetylation reaction, and it gives rise to the polymer, that is a cellulose diacetate. So this gives rise to this cellulose diacetate. It is nothing but is used in making threads. Cellulose diacetate is used in making threads. Various threads, then various fibers, glasses, etc. Then next we come to the synthetic polymers. So synthetic polymers, obviously it has been manufactured synthetically in the lab. Those type of polymers, we call them as a synthetic polymer. So something which is obviously synthetic, the word synthetic, it means what? Something which you are manufacturing chemically in the lab. Those are called as the synthetic substances. Here we are dealing with the synthetic polymers, so the ones which have been, so these are long chains of, let me draw a line over here, otherwise you will get confused. This board is very small. and this will lead to your confusion. So synthetic polymers, these are long chains of your organic molecules. Long chains of organic molecules containing, what will it contain? What will it contain? Long chains of organic molecules. What will it contain? Obviously, many monomer units are being joined together. So, containing monomer units containing thousands of monomers. Monomer unit. For example, your PVC, Bakelite, then nylon, Teflon, etc. Clear? So based on the source of origin, we are having the three types: natural polymers, semi-synthetic polymers and synthetic polymers. Here under natural polymers, something more that I will be discussing in the end, first or after some time. So let's discuss now. Shall I rub this? I assume that I am teaching you, you people are in the classroom environment. Okay, so besides this, there are certain polymers which have got a very low degree of polymerization. So polymers with low degree of polymerization, this is what I wanted to teach you, that is polymers with low degree, having low degree of polymerization. That is under natural polymers, having low degree of polymerization. These are called as the oligopolymers. And polymers having the high degree of polymerization, those are called as your high degree of polymerization. That is called polymers. So when you come across this word oligopolymers and high polymers, don't get confused. Let us have an example over here. That is a formation of your polyisoprene. That is, as I gave you the example of your natural rubber which is obtained from the rubber tree. So NCH2 so it undergoes polymerization and it forms the N molecules. That is here monomer unit will write down. This bond opens up from here. Hope I am right over here. This bond opens, this bond is being formed over here. CH2. So this is here. So this is your polyisoprene. Let me check. Yes, everything that is there. So what is happening over here? This double bond, it comes over here. And this is, if you are not putting into the bracket, this is a repeat unit. N number of times the repeat unit, this leads to the polyisoprene. So natural rubber, polyisoprene, isoprene unit, see that? You learn it carefully. It has been asked in various competitive exams. Very important, extremely important. Go through the papers. You will find this several number of times. It has been asked. So this, we have finished with one way of classification of the polymers. Let us proceed further with the other next way of classification. So next way of classification on basis of structure. On basis of structure. Next way of classification on the basis of structure. Here you are having again the three types. linear polymer, then we are having the branched chain polymer, branch chain or the branched polymer, either you call it as a branch chain or simply the branched polymer. Then you have the cross-linked polymer. So here, let me first show you how exactly it is. The linear polymer. See, when long chains or the monomeric units are joined together, when these have been in this way, that is when your monomeric units, that is the long monomeric units, are arranged in this particular way, in the form of long chains. They are the linear chains, long chains. So these several long chains are been stacked one over the other. Many long chains, that is many monomeric units, are been stacked one over the other, leading to the formation of your linear polymers. At the same time, when your polymers there is a many monomeric units that has been branched together, you will find when it has been branched together, one main chain and branching is there in this way. These type of polymers, we call this as a branched polymers. So we can call it as this is a side chains made up of monomeric units. Side chains, it is having the side chains. Side chains of monomers. It has been attached to one main chain. There is a one main chain that is attached to linear chain. Attached to linear chain. This type of polymer, we call this as a branched polymer. And here in this, what can we write down over here? This is what? Monomeric unit. So monomeric units joined to form long chains. And in fact, they are stacked one over the other. Next, we are having over here, that is your cross-linked. Cross-linked polymers are in this way. You can see these are the long chains, okay, and they have been crossed. They have been linked with one another by cross-linking. So these type of polymers, we call them as a cross-linked polymer. So here we can say adjacent polymeric chains, they are linked together. So adjacent polymeric chains, see one chain, second chain, third chain. So these nearby chains are being linked together. This adjacent polymeric chains are being linked through side chains. Are linked with the help of side chains, and this give rise to a 3D structure, giving rise to a 3D structure or 3D network, sorry, not 3D structure, 3D network. Such type of polymers we call them as a cross-linked polymers. They are also called as the network because it leads to a 3D network. It is also called as the network polymer. Network polymer. Alright, next we move on to the so I hope this idea is clear. What do we mean by linear polymer, where long chains are been there, joined one above the other, stacked one over the other. Side branch chain, where there's a branching, one main chain, one, you can see one main chain and branching has been done over it. That is, it leads, many branches are been over there. So this is one linear chain and many monomeric units are been branched over here, attached to this linear chain. So this is the branch chain, and cross link, that is many linear chains. They have, or many polymeric chains are been linked to each other with the help of these side chains, this over here. Or you can say many of the chains have been linked together with each other. Adjacent chains have been linked together, leading to the formation of a 3D network, and hence it is also called as the network polymer. So let's move on to the characteristics of these three different types of polymers. I'm rubbing it off because the space won't be there. I won't get a sufficient space if I start writing down over here the characteristics. So let's proceed with the characteristics. It's becoming black because of this ink. So characteristics of all these different types of polymers. So first of all, here we have the linear polymer, then we have the branched, and lastly we have the, that is over here, we have your cross-linked. Okay, so linear polymer, as you have seen, they are been stacked one above the other. If they have been stacked one above the other, what do we expect about the molecular masses over here? So polymeric chains stack over one above the other due to, there will be close packing. So due to close packing, their strength will be high, they will be having a high density. So due to stacking of chains one above the other, what will be having? That is, it leads to the formation of a well-packed structure, forms a well-packed structure. Well-packed structure. If the structure is well-packed, obviously the density will be high. Density will be high. Then tensile strength will be high. Tensile strength will be high, density will be high, melting point will be high. Then, okay, that's it. So we are having over here high density, high tensile strength, high melting point. In case of branch chain, we'll find due to, it is a branching is there, so we'll be find that because of the branching, it will be unable to pack compactly. If you will see that these branches are there, I'll just draw it once again over here. If these branches are there in this way, it will be unable to pack compactly. So what will it give rise to? That is that is packing will, that is difficult to pack, that is unable to pack and unable to pack compactly. So packing will not be compact. And irregular packing, you can say irregularity or irregularly packed. And all the other characteristics will be just the opposite. That is, density will be low, tensile strength will be low. So tensile strength will be low, melting point will be low, or as compared to this, it is going to be low. Then next we come to cross-link. So there will be cross-link. So we can say due to cross-linking, they are cross-linking, they are very hard and rigid. These type of polymers, that is a cross-linked polymers, they are very hard, they will be very hard, they will be very rigid because of the cross-linking with them. So with this, we finish with the first part of the two types of classification. Thank you, students.